I will now turn things over to Mr. Sablan for 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's just a wonderful way to discuss legislation, and I hope other committees could learn from this subcommittee. Congratulations. I do have, one of the issues that I have, let me ask my question first. Secretary Mayo, sir, I understand that the minority members have a discussion draft of a bill to increase oversight of coronavirus pandemic funding. I agree with the main goal to increase oversight. Congress needs to have a much better understanding of the plans for how these funds are spent and how these funds should be spent. And I'm particularly interested in how the VA has and will use these funds to help veterans in my district, the Northern Mariana Islands, and now other insular areas. I often hear of the VA's plans and initiatives for the several states, DC and Puerto Rico, but rarely hear specifics for veterans in the insular areas of American Samoa, Guam, the Northern Marianas, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. My question is, has VA determined its budget plans for the increased funding that Congress provided? And do these plans detail what the increase of funds will mean for veterans in the Northern Marianas and the other island areas that I mentioned?
Congressman Sablan, thank you for the question. I assure you that we have every intent to make sure that the same type of access, the same type of outcomes that we're working for all veterans would apply to those veterans in your district and area in the Marianas. I would ask that maybe Mr. Murray could explain a little bit on the funding. I don't have particularly those details. We could certainly maybe take it for the record. I'm not aware of the exact plans at this point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't mind that so long as eventually we get the information especially for the other insulators. And while I have you and I have the Chairman Papas here and General Bergman, one of the issues I faced here in Congress, and this is going on for 12 years, is, among the cornucopia, the huge abundance of federal regulations and federal programs that apply throughout our nation, there is always that confusion of whether one thing applies to the territories as well, or one thing applies to, some territories and not others. Is there a way where we could set up, as a workforce or task force, not too many, just to look at the programs that apply to the territories and ask why the rest that don't apply, why they don't apply, and if there is rational in maybe making them apply, that as well. Secretary Mayo, I appreciate your statement that you want to make sure that the services that apply to veterans in the states apply to the territories. It's not exactly accurate because, and there may be reasons behind it. I'd love for those things to apply, including get the VA to set up a CBOC at the very least in my district, or a vet center even. That's not happening. I got the commitment of Secretary, Secretary Shin, can I have the name? Secretary, before the last secretary he had to leave his job because he went and watched, I guess he's a tennis fan. I have his commitment to set up a vet center, and that's still not happening. Is there a way we could set up something so we work and find out, do a census maybe of the program that applies to territories and look at others that don't, and If there's no rationale to make them apply, then we'll leave it alone. But if there are, maybe we could continue working and eventually get the services, Secretary Mayor, that you said that are available to to veterans here in the 50 states, the several states, apply to the territories as well. Thank you for everything that your department does for our veterans. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Well, thanks for those comments. That's an important issue to work on.
Thank you. Mr. Sablan, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again, Mr. Chairman and General. Mr. Mayor, I'm going to go back again to, because I didn't hear any response from you. Actually, the secretary was Secretary Shokin at that time, who gave me a commitment that we're going to set up a vet center in the Marianas, and we still don't have one. We really would like one. So, but on the other issue that I was talking about, is there a possibility of setting up some kind of arrangement where your department would look at the several programs that apply to the insular areas, the territories? Again, I've got American Samoa, Guam, the Northern Marianas, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. And among those issues, find out why other programs do not apply. There are rationals, I'm certain, that some programs don't apply, but if there are programs that has no, major obstacle, we could look at getting those to apply. Is this something that your office could do, or should I ask the chairman to help me and we'll go to GAO, Mr. Mayo?
Congressman Sablan, thank you for the questioning, but yes, I think the VA can commit to discuss with those things with your office, to get a little more definition. I think it would be helpful to us as to this particular issues that we can do to provide a response back to you on that, whether we do that as a question for the record or however you'd prefer to do that in some consultation. It's not my specific office, but certainly in the VA, we would have the capability to discuss that with you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So what's convenient for you? Work with our office directly if you want anything, but let's get this moving. Number one. Number two, and I have a question for Mr. Wilbur, right? Inspector General, Office of Counselor. I have a question for you, Counselor. I submitted a report about the one staff that you have in the Marianas, an administrative staff. I requested, and it was, I don't think it's a whistleblower, because I was the one who submitted the report asking for an Inspector General review of her performance and how she would, because she's not happy with me, but how she would tell people who come to see her, that I am a bad politician. I don't know why she said. I mean, she's not happy with me, she cannot vote for me, but she doesn't have to tell others that. I don't remember ever receiving a response to my request. Would it be possible, Mr. Wilbur, to look into that and see if there was something done, and if it did a response, I appreciate that. It's at least 4 years request.
Yes, sir. I'm not familiar with the request, but I will look into it and we'll respond to your office.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I have 1 minute left in my time. Either you, Chairman Papas, or maybe General would need it. I yield to whoever needs it. If not, I yield my time back.